Bom dia.
Just going to take you on a quick update around the place, see what we've been up to. So Caroline has started sanding down the top of the container and painting all the rusty spots. Some of our flowers that we have planted are coming through. And a friend the other day gave us a bunch more, so we've planted them down the outside of our boundary. We got lots of flowers going down here. As you can see, we have been doing some fencing. So we've created our first products on the land, and we've got some fencing done, some posts dug into the ground. We'll show you the process of how we're doing them. Caroline has been making lots of fence posts, so over the course of cutting down trees we've been storing what we believe is a good fence post size posts. If only they were all that easy, huh?
The 2016 Jungle Technology Program.
Summer vibes! We should be at the fucking beach! That's the first 15 fence posts done. Kudos to Carolina. Feels really good to get our first product from the land. So what I'm doing here is I'm digging a hole about 700, 800 deep, 700 millimeters. I'm using a crowbar to fluff up the ground once I get a bit nice and fluffy, and I'm just using my spade to gauge my hole. I'm going in with a spade, bringing out the loose fluffy stuff, keeping it a whole spade's width round. Just keep at it, fluffy stuff out, crowbar back in, bust it up, rinse and repeat till I'm down in there. And then when I can't get my spade in there, I've got this little bucket, little yogurt pot, and again I'm fluffing it all out. I'm getting my yogurt pot in there and I'm digging it out, and I've got a tape measure there. I'm going to about 700-800, depends what the topsoil's like. I want at least 700 mil of clay all around my post. Then we're going to backfill it with rubble. 800 mil is there. And so I just take a reference onto my crowbar about a hand's width down. If my crowbar's in the hole and I've got a hand around the top, I know I'm at around 800, and that's fine with me. And that way you can protect your tape measure from keep getting dirt in the spring. So I've just hit a big root in one of my holes, which the hole has to go there. I've hit one before, but I just filled the hole back in and moved the hole somewhere else because it's probably quicker than trying to chop through a root. In this instance, what I'm going to do is I've got a grinder disc, 40 grit flappy disc, and I'm going to sharpen this bad boy up and get at it. That is what we just ripped out, and the root runs, if it run across my hole like that, I probably would have just filled the hole in and moved on, but it actually run up the whole line of where I want the fence. So if I'd have moved, you know, half a meter either way, I probably would have run into it again. So in the bottom of the hole I've chucked a couple shovelfuls of gravel, and then down by the bottom, can you lean to me, Caroline? Nice. I'm just chucking some old bits of rubble round the post in each direction, just old bits of breeze block and crap that's laying around the land, wedging some gaps. And then when we backfill that and we compress that gravel round that post, all of those gaps are filled because we've got like a mixture of sort of small rocks, big rock. This is what the gravel looks like that we're using. So you can see there's a certain size for every little gap in there. So why are we using gravel over something like concrete? Well, there's quite a few reasons, but mainly it's cheaper, it's quicker, and it's got better drainage. Most of the time when posts rot out, this part of the post is fine. Where it rots out is round here. When we put a post in concrete and submerge it in the ground, the water cannot drain. The water will sit here. When it rains, water will splash. This is the part of the post that will rot out. You'll often find, if you ever dig out old fences and so on, there'll be a bit of rotten post in the concrete and the rest of this will be absolutely fine. So here, by using gravel, we're allowing a lot of drainage to happen. It will keep this all clear and free. We've charred these posts and then we've put burnt oil. We actually submerged them in burnt oil. This is to sort of protect it against the elements and from bugs, and to try and give this post base here more life. And so another reason could be in 20 years time when this rots out, hopefully it goes on for longer, I haven't got to replace it and dig through concrete. I've just got to dig out this gravel and re-put my post in.
High five. Oh, good girl.
And as you can see, the place is getting very clear. We've been chopping a lot of trees. It's been a while since we last done a video, and so I just want to give you guys a quick update on what we've been up to. We've been chopping some big trees the other day. Hello! Now I've cut this notch out, Carolina's going to reel in the electric winch, and that's going to put a lot of tension on the tree. Unfortunately, I'm about to go straight through our pile of fence posts, but every single tree I've lined up has to come this way and has to go through these canopies, so I need to work from this way forward to remove the canopy to be able to allow the trees further behind to go. Here's what it is, we need to move them into there anyway. I missed it because I fell over! The big trees that we're cutting down, we've been trying to stack, but it's just so much effort. They're so heavy, and between the two of us and no machinery, it's really, really hard. And all that we're doing by stacking these huge logs on top of here, we're just making the timber that we're going to use first not accessible, because these big ones that are going on obviously covering up the timber that we're gonna use, and I just can't work out how I'm gonna use this for joinery. I mean, this is halfway down the tree and it's just way too heavy to use. Without machinery, I don't know how I'm going to do joinery on this, because I've got to fit all the pieces together, lift them up, turn them around, maneuver them about, and I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And so the sort of hoarder scavenger in both of us wants to keep absolutely every tree possible, but it was taking us way too long to be able to process these trees and store them, and we're at a point where we kind of really just need to kick on. And so we've decided that we are just going to turn them into firewood. It's a bit of a shame, but we don't really have the space, and we don't have the capacity, time, energy, strength or machinery to utilize these massive trees. And so we are creating the Great Wall of Firewood, and this is one of our borders along the land, and we're just going to create a massive line all the way down there full of firewood. At least we get a product out of it.
Then you vem. What do you have to say?
So there's a hardness rating called the Janka hardness scale, and it rates timber on the pounds of force that can be put through them, I believe, or the density of the wood. And just for a few examples, pine comes in at around 400, white oak comes in at around 1,300, acacia comes in at around 1,700, and eucalyptus comes in at around 1,900. Now, depending on the chart that you look at, the numbers can vary and sway here and there, but that's sort of a rough show of just how hard and how dense this wood is, and that makes it really, really heavy, especially when we're cutting down fresh timber. And so part of our plan before stepping onto here excuse me, was to cut down a lot of the trees that we wish to build with in the winter. This is because a lot of the sap, most of the sap, goes down into the root systems, which means a lot of the moisture from the tree is down in the root base. While we cut down the trees and the weather's not too warm, it allows the timber to slowly start drying. At the minute, we're coming into summer, all of the sap's rising in the trees, which is making the wood really, really wet. And so when we're cutting down the tree, because also it's a lot warmer, the moisture's evaporating from the tree a lot quicker, and so this is going to cause huge cracks down the timber. If you want to keep the timber for building, for turning into slabs, and you want to reduce your cracking, you should cut the timber somewhere after autumn, fall, when the sap's all down in the root systems. Right now we're a little bit stuck. We've still got some trees to cut down, and so to avoid having a situation where if we require a 4-meter piece of wood, we're adding, say, 1 meter on either end to allow for that cracking, and hope that we can get a 4-meter section out of that log afterwards. Been cutting trees for 6 months, and we're getting to a point where we want to be building stuff, and we need to start working on our businesses so we can start getting some money coming in. And so yeah, just want to take you on a quick tour what we've been up to. We've got loads of good timber to utilize for building. We've still got half of a forest to cut down, but we're not going to do that until the end of the year, until winter. And so yeah, this is just a little quick update. Just wanted to run you through what we've been up to. It's very much same, cutting trees, stacking logs, storing firewood, creating compost piles, getting ready for some big building projects. We're excited to get the fencing on the go. We're going to fence the perimeter. And I've been cutting some of these huge trees, which is a massive step up for me, considering I'd never cut a tree down until I come onto the land. And now I'm getting these big boys down. So we're going to focus on the container as well. We want to get a pitched roof on the container so we can collect some water. We require water over here now, and as soon as we get the roof on, we can get the solar panels and the solar system set up. That means we get electric to charge all of our batteries and the speaker and things like that, making life a lot more comfortable over here. And then we want to get a toilet over here, so we're going to work on fencing ourselves in and creating some facilities and getting ourselves a little bit more comfortable over here.